So, hello everyone. This is Loren Israelsen, president of UNPA, based here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm coming to you live. And I have with me as a special guest, Shelley Sapsin with Informa Networks. The reason I've asked Shelley on today to interview her is because of the great work that she and her colleagues are doing at the New Hope Standards program and have created a business accelerator that is called MarketReady. This program is designed for those many companies that are keen to go to Expo West, to Supply Side, and other New Hope and Informa sponsored events. Very often they're fairly new to the industry and they can make mistakes that would disqualify them from being able to participate in these shows. So the standards team is very patiently trying to help companies prepare themselves to be good exhibitors, and over time have developed a list of most common mistakes, and that in turn has led to the development of a program, which is the MarketReady program, designed to help companies be able to matriculate through all of the key issues that they need to look after as they prepare to go to the show. So I wanted Shelley to come on and give us some details about this new program. UNPA is very excited to see this kind of tool and resource available. Very often in the course of our work, we also see companies that are struggling to understand what compliance really means, and very often make common mistakes. Some are easily corrected, others require a little more work. So with that, Shelley, I would like you first to introduce yourself briefly, and then take us through the New Hope Standards program with a light overview touch, and then take us right into the MarketReady program, so that viewers here can understand, okay, now this is how it works, and then make sure everyone knows who to contact so that they can make the correct inquiries. So welcome, Shelley. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Lauren. I really appreciate you having me today. Let me give you a little bit of background about me. I started my career in law, actually. I worked in a Washington, D.C. law firm, and then shortly thereafter decided that I really loved business. So I went to the Midwest and I ran an import company that did a lot of domestic manufacturing. We had clients, private label clients with department stores and actually mass merchants as well. I loved doing that. I took a break to have my children. And then I decided what I really wanted to do was try startup, because I run a business and love doing that. But we were in Boulder, and of course the Boulder community is just incredibly supportive of startups, and especially food and beverage and dietary supplement industry. So I began a frozen food startup, had a ton of fun, but I found that there were some challenges. And one of the things that happened, because I was working in that arena, is that I ran into New Hope. And New Hope is much loved in Boulder and in many places. And I wanted to go ahead and get involved with them. So I called Michelle, who is Michelle Zerbe, the head of our standards department at New Hope, and took a position there. And over the last, I've been with them for about a year and a half. Over the last year and a half, I've had such a great opportunity to see all of the businesses that are coming to us, and this work that the standards department has done. I was so impressed with the difference that they can make with new businesses coming to us who really aren't as familiar with the market or with what the requirements are. And the standards department will help them and really provide some guidance, and then and they're able to launch in a way that is largely compliant. What we noticed, though, is that we had so much demand that the standards department couldn't keep up. And additionally, our businesses were looking for more than the standards department could do. So our standards department ensures that our show standards are met by the exhibitors who are on our show floor, and they're based on federal regulation. But of course, there's, the standards department doesn't have enough time to work to make sure that a business is fully compliant. And that's where we began seeing this real need, because we would say to businesses, you need to change this in order to meet our show standards. And they would go ahead and do that, but they would want to know, well, if I'm going to make that change, what other changes do I need to be regulatory compliant so I only do this once? And that's where MarketReady can really help. We can let them know about that, and then more broadly, we can say, okay, if you're interested in this area, you may also want to look at your GMPs, or you may want to be aware that if you're going to do contract manufacturing, these are some of the things that you should think about. That's broader than what our standards department does, but it's a really important need because we've got people coming to us who don't necessarily know what the landscape is. They've got a fantastic idea and they know about how to formulate their product, but they don't know some of these other things. And that's where MarketReady steps in. And in addition to the regulatory piece, we also pull in all of these resources that a company as large as Informa can really offer to businesses. So that's how MarketReady came about.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And take us through some of the most common mistakes that are made. And I'll start by making one observation, is that we've noticed over the years, and I've done quite a lot of label reviews and advisory work for companies over my career, is that two things happen. One is that companies that don't know the rules will go into a health food store, look around, find a brand that looks like they know what they're doing, and they'll copy their label exactly. And somebody else will copy theirs, and you see whole generations of the same mistake being made on labels. And so one rule is don't copy anybody else, because very often they're making mistakes too.
Yeah, we see that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. So that's so for all viewers, is don't do that. Something else that I'm very interested in is certifications, because there are so many of so many different types. And we now see those that are homemade, that the marketing department will just put something together and put that on the label. Then you have the ones that are really high level, require rigorous I would say homework and compliance before you're qualified. And then you have to pay a fee to maintain that certification. And I'm gonna guess that's another area where you often see problems. Could you walk us through just that as an example of what kinds of problems do you run into with certification?
Sure. Yeah, so what our standards department does is make sure that if a business puts a certification or a seal on their product that has gone through a certifying agency, that it's actually up to date, right? Because a lot of times what will happen is they may do it, they may not renew, or maybe they're anticipating that they will get it done, so they've got that seal on their product, but it's not actually complete. So what we want to do is make sure that on our show floor, if you see a product that is labeled certified organic, someone has checked to make sure that it actually is. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times companies will be confused about whether they can call their product organic if they know that some of the ingredients are organic. Does that mean that they can label the product itself as organic? And that's something that you can get a little bit of feedback from the standards department, but if you want to know more about that, or you also are interested in finding out which certification might be most appropriate for your product, which one will garner the most attention and the most value from consumers, that's something that MarketReady can help with as well. So when we're looking at certifications, the other thing that we'll see is that the certifier might be missing on a product. If you've got an organic product, you have to make sure that you get the certifier labeled on the product. Those are the kind of little details that we can catch and help people with. So certifications are certainly a very big part of what both standards and MarketReady do.
A couple of other areas that I'm sure are big ones. Structure function claims, or claims generally. A lot of companies, a lot of people are confused. Where's the line between a DSHEA compliant structure function claim and a disease claim? And oftentimes it's pretty close, but there is some critical wording that people need to pay attention to.
Yeah. So, pardon me, Loren. No, I was just going to say, I think one thing that I think really helps clarify for businesses what you can say and can't say is if you think about a claim being about a healthy attribute of the product, right? So dietary supplements can make claims that a product helps support or maintain a healthy function of the body, healthy structure or function. What it can't do is suggest that the product can treat or mitigate symptoms of a disease. And it can be a very fine line, but I think a lot of times businesses will look on the internet for the types of things that a product might help with. And in many cases, it may be very effective for those things, but that doesn't mean that you can say them on the bottle of a dietary supplement. So we try to explain that and work with businesses to make sure that when they're laying out the text, they're careful about how they word it, because they can always get their message across. They just have to do it in a way that complies with the law.
Exactly. So how does one get into the MarketReady program? If they want to sign up and avail themselves of this service, what's the process?
So you can go to our website at marketreadyinsights.com, and it's laid out so that you can see the different types of services we offer. One of the things we tried to do was make sure that, especially for new companies who may be uncertain about what compliance they need, what compliance issues they need to address, the format of the website is designed to give you an idea. You know, I should be looking at labeling, or maybe I need to be looking at my contract manufacturing, or maybe I'm looking at making sure that my supply is secure. Those are all different types of services that MarketReady can offer, and the website will help explain those. And then the other thing we really wanted to make sure that we did well was to make sure this program is affordable. Because what we find is that businesses will come to us and either they won't be aware that they need compliance assistance, or they'll think that it's going to be incredibly expensive and they simply can't afford it right now. And we really want to encourage businesses to start out and stay compliant, because it makes them much more attractive to the people they're trying to sell to, and it increases consumer trust in their product, and they need that in order to be successful. So our program is very affordable, and it's also packaged so that you can purchase just what you need at the time that you need it, and make sure that each step along the way you've taken the steps you need to in order to be successful.
And I think that's great. This is such an important part of the program, is affordability. And is, just as you said, if that's a barrier to entry, you've really tried hard to make sure that almost everybody can afford this. Yes. And make progress as they move their way through into the industry. So we'll include on the back end of this video both the link to the site as well as a terrific PowerPoint presentation, which you shared with us, that really helps take people through. And I'm sure they will also find that on the link. So Shelley, I want to thank you today for walking us through the MarketReady program. And as we get back into shows, hopefully in 2021, and ramp up once again, this is a great time for preparation for companies that are looking for Expo West or any of the shows coming up. Is good moment of preparation right now. We have a little bit of time on our hands.
Absolutely.
I would encourage people to contact you through the website and directly. And we want to just say thank you that UNPA and Informa and New Hope have had a relationship for nearly 40 years. So we feel like we're great partners and want to continue to support the terrific work that you are doing and the standards team that work under Michelle. So with that, we want to thank you very much, Shelley, for joining us today. And we look forward to sharing this with our membership and the natural products industry.
Thank you, Loren. I really appreciate being here, and we appreciate UNPA's support as well.
You're welcome. And goodbye, everybody.